We're now joined with Angela, and we're going to be talking all about Mike's Place in Sittingbourne. So firstly, welcome along to the show, Angela.
Thank you.
Firstly, could you tell us a little bit about your role?
Well, I've been involved with the project now for just over 2 years, and my first major task was raising funds for the project, mainly through grant applications, which was not something I've done before. But you do get more money more quickly than doing jumble sales and coffee mornings and wine and wisdoms. Yeah. Having raised the money, I then and got the building work in process. I recruited the volunteers through a variety of media, really. CVS in Sittingbourne were very good. Some people heard about the project through Rotary, so they came through that, and just other things they saw in the local papers. Having found volunteers, you have to then go through the same process as you do with paid staff.
Right. So
CRB checks, because they're working with vulnerable people, application forms, references, which all takes quite a long time, and sometimes I have used them before all the paperwork's come back, but I'm virtually always there and nobody's ever working on their own, so there's always at least 2 people working. The most boring bit for me was setting up policies. Again, like any business, we have to have policies for equal opportunities, data protection, health and safety, which I find incredibly dreary, but has to be done. And now the project is up and running, and I oversee it on a daily basis. There are days I can't go, but I've got excellent volunteers, and so, you know, they know if I'm not going to be there, and they do the necessary.
What is the background to the project, Angela?
Well, about 3 years ago, the then vicar of St Michael's Church used to find people sleeping in the churchyard, and he asked what we could do to assist them, but he told them we couldn't provide accommodation. You can't really provide accommodation with volunteers, you need paid staff, and we weren't going to be into that sort of money. The people he spoke to requested somewhere to wash and dry their clothes, shower and have breakfast. Also signposting. So sometimes if they've come from out of area, they may not know where services are, and so we can point them to the community hospital, the benefits agency, employment service, or housing organisations. Yep. Once the funding had been raised for the building, which was an underused building belonging to the Diocese of Canterbury, we started having the builders in to adapt it for its current purpose. But needless to say, as with all buildings, the building work costs more money than we've got. But we did eventually open on the 17th of May to the public, or to the homeless people, and we have got a loan, which I've still got to raise funds to pay off. The vicar who started the project, really, Nick Finlay, since moved to Wales, which was really useful. So he originally asked me to become involved because he knew I'd been made redundant from a housing charity and had also worked for a social landlord and with a variety of client groups. I'd worked with people with mental health problems, learning disabilities, care leavers. So I'm not a social worker, but I'd worked quite a lot in health and social care.
Angela, what is the funding for the project, and what has that provided?
The funding for the project has come mainly from grant applications, and the following organisations have supported us. Locally, the JR Component Charitable Trust, the Collier Ferguson Charitable Trust, the Church Urban Fund, KCC have a small community projects grant, and we got money from them. Amicus Horizon, which was Swale Housing. Peter Gilroy, who was the, I think, the head of social services until fairly recently. Bernard Sunley Charitable Foundation, the Beatrice Lang Trust, and a local organisation, the Freewheelers, which are the wives of one of the Rotarians groups in Sittingbourne. The 1960s building we operate from was underused and generally needed modernising. The money raised, which to date I think is 35,000, has been used to provide 2 shower rooms with shower cubicles, toilets and wash hand basins, and a disabled person's WC, which also has a baby changing area. We have a cupboard with a washing machine that does a 15-minute wash and a tumble dryer, and we do need to get another tumble dryer before the winter. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to cope with getting the clothes dry in the 2-hour slot we have. The kitchen had recently been refitted, so we didn't have to spend any money on that. The property has also been rewired, partly replumbed, a new boiler installed and ceilings fireproofed and a fire alarm system installed. We have had a loan from the church and I will therefore continue to try and raise funds, but this is quite difficult to do retrospectively.
Are you looking for volunteers?
I would be pleased to recruit a couple more volunteers, but we are managing quite well, particularly as we're not busy at the moment. Each morning there are at least 2 people manning Mike's place, and quite often 3. We can't open unless there are at least 2. We don't have any lone working at all. I have a very mixed group of volunteers. I have working people, retired people, male, female, younger and older. Generally they seem to have a pretty good sense of humour. It's most important they're reliable because, as I said, we can't open up with one person. And a non-judgmental attitude.
Angela, what services are you providing?
Right, well, first of all, we're open on Monday, Wednesday and Thursday mornings between 8 and 10 a.m. The reason we chose those days were because we knew the Baptist Church ran something on a Tuesday and Friday, so it seemed sensible to try and cover each weekday. We provide homeless people with the opportunity to wash and dry their clothes, have a shower and then can give them a light breakfast, cereals, toast and a hot drink. We have towels and toiletries for them to use, a small clothes store and a small store of food, which we can also give out. We can signpost people to other organisations that may be able to help them, such as Porchlight and the Keys, that both provide housing advice and housing. And for that we charge 50p a session.
Now, I understand you need to increase usage.
Yes, we do. People keep telling us there's definitely a need for the facility, but to date we've had very little use. We've done quite a lot of posters and leaflets, but homeless people are quite difficult to make contact with and are often suspicious of new services. The building we operate from is tucked away just off Sittingbourne High Street, behind the Bingo Hall and St Michael's Church. What I think would help would be 2 or 3 large boards advertising the project, and if there is a member of the public who could help us with that and is looking for a job, do feel free to contact our office for further details. However, we're still hopeful of increasing our numbers, and various organisations continue to tell us there's a definite need for the facilities.
Now, if our listeners would like to find out more information, how can they contact you?
Right, well, our address is Church House, High Street, Sittingbourne, ME10 4PG, and the telephone number there is 01795 439 230. We have somebody in the office on Monday, Wednesday and Friday mornings, but there is an answer phone on obviously all the time, and whoever takes the messages off will contact me. And my personal email address is Angela Fennell, that's FENNELL 49 at yahoo.co.uk, or alternatively pop in one morning and see us at Church House Monday, Wednesday, Thursday 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. Thank you.
Angela, I'd like to thank you very much for coming along this evening and telling us all about Mike's Place.
Thank you, Daniel.
That's Angela here at the Monday Night Community Show, telling us all about Mike's Place in Sittingbourne here at BRFM 95.6.